Hey guys, First Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about a heroic heavy bolt rifle build for the tactical class in Space Marine 2 patch 12.0 for the Techmarine update. Now, the heroic heavy bolt rifle is by far the best variant of the heavy bolt rifle in the game currently, in my opinion, mainly because the major downsides of the heavy bolt rifle have always been the lack of contested health recovery and the lack of stagger, and the grenade launcher attachment has kind of fixed both those issues, and on top of that, this is just the best grenade launcher as well because you have more damage perks, and the perk tree on this weapon is just set up a little bit better than the bolt rifle in my opinion. Now, for the perk tree selection on this, I do take the perk extend magazine first. Magazine size increases by 15% of the maximum. Perks like this and perks like increased capacity, they will up the total ammo reserves for your grenade portion, which is really useful here. And your per shot value on a grenade in this game is actually quite high on tactical, especially because of your Auspex skin, where if you take precise calibration and concentrated fire, you will be able to pretty much one-shot a Majoris in your Auspex. So really powerful combo, and a single grenade can really make the difference. So that's kind of why I go down the bottom tree. Now the next perk here is Magazine Restoration. When your health drops below 30%, your ammo reserve is stored by full magazine, cannot exceed maximum ammo capacity. The cooldown is 30 seconds. This perk is a little bit redundant because I do take the perk Emperor's Vengeance. Now, you don't have to take this perk on this build. I do because, like I said before, one grenade can make all the difference, and this will give you back one grenade in a 30-second cooldown, which may not seem like much when you take the Auspex into account as like one Horde gun potentially. So that's why I take it here. But if you want to skip that, you could, because otherwise you really aren't getting a ton of value out of this perk, but we take it anyways if you want this. Next perk here is Cleaving Fire, moving here into the perk Remote Threat. Enemies at a distance of more than 25 meters take 20% more damage. There are actually two instances of this perk in this tree. You have one here and here for a total of a 40% damage buff at 25 meters or beyond, which is actually quite substantial. If you take this with all the other range damage buffs on the tactical that he just has a ridiculous amount of, you will do a tremendous amount of damage at long range. This will also affect your grenades and give you the highest grenade launcher damage in the entire game over the bolt rifle, though, to be honest, hitting an enemy from 25 meters away with a grenade is a little bit of a weird thing to do, but it's still doable. Next perk here is Great Might, up here into the perk Headhunter, then I pick up the perk Tactical Precision. Headshots will deal 20% more damage, and non-headshot damage decreases by 10%. This perk will lower the damage on the grenade launcher portion of your gun by 10%, but getting 20% more headshot damage here is still really nice, and like I said before, your grenade launcher does so much damage with Auspex that even with a 10% reduction here, you will be able to get pretty much a one-shot on guys with this combo, so we'll get into this later, but just keep that in mind, it's really not that big of a downside. Now, the final perk selection here I want to talk about is up to you. So you could go down here like I did with Cleaving Fire, Rampage here, Extended Magazine, and Remote Threat for like a little bit more grenade launcher ammo and more damage at range for your gun. But if you want to be a bit safer, you could go up here for Recoupment, because this perk reads, killing a Majoris level or higher enemy with a headshot with this weapon restores an armor segment, and the cooldown is 15 seconds. This perk may not seem like much, but the survivability you get from this off of one armor every 15 seconds, like a Majoris kill at range, is super valuable. It will make your life way easier, and on top of that, you can build through this into the perk here, Rapid Health, that actually has some health regen on this gun, and both of these perks are very easy to trigger on a heavy bolt rifle heroic variant because you have a fucking grenade launcher to just shoot 7 guys, so really easy perk combo here if you want that. Final perks here, Perpetual Penetration and Divine Might if you want to go this row, and Divine Might will kind of make up for the lack of 10% damage you had here, like any range. So if you want to do that, you definitely can. That is up to you, and that's pretty much all there is for the heroic heavy bolt rifle here. Now for my secondary weapon, I do take the heroic heavy bolt pistol. I think this is just my favorite heavy bolt pistol and secondary in the game currently. The heroic perk effect here is called No Help Is Coming. Shooting enemy with the least stream status, that's for conf reinforcements, and headshots will kill in one shot. Now, in patch 12, they have finally fixed this one to work on more than just headshots. In patch 11, it was bugged to not work on body shots at all. That is now fixed. It's like kind of a nerf in some ways that you can't do like a follow-up shot for a headshot kill, but being able to stop chaos spawn, that is pretty nice, and I still think this gun is very powerful, and being able to have the highest gun strike damage in the game on top of this is pretty good. And one more thing that has great synergy on this build is that the one-shot headshot will work no matter what, even though we do lose damage on our secondary here with balanced distribution, so that's just why I pick it up here. Now for the perk tree, I do take the perk Divine Might first, moving here into the perk Perpetual Penetration, Increased Capacity, Extended Magazine, Death Strike, which is an incredible perk. After killing a Majoris level or higher enemy in melee combat, you will deal 25% more damage for 10 seconds. Just keep in mind you have to have the weapon equipped for this, and it will work on an execute, but if you swap off the gun for any reason, you will lose the damage buff here. So that does kind of suck, but just keep that in mind. Next perk here is Great Might, up here into the perk Discipline. Then we pick up the perk Strong Finish, Headhunter, Gunstrike, Reload, Tactical Precision. You get the idea. Really, just build for damage perks on this, and Tactical Precision with bonus headshot damage for losing non-headshot damage. I mean, what the hell are you non-headshot trying to kill anyways on this gun? Pretty much nothing, so pretty much always pick this up. That's pretty much all there is for the secondary here. Now, for the melee weapon selection here, I do take the Heroic Combat Knife, the Power Gladius. Now, this weapon on Tactical with the proper Auspex setup can just one-shot a boss, and I can actually show that to you in the gameplay we'll show later, but the hero perk effect here is called Agile Strike. After a perfect dodge, the next melee attack deals 120% more damage, can be stacked up to 3 times, and there's also a hidden perk effect here, where after the initial attack, it will have a lingering effect the damage buff for 1 second, so even better than it sounds. Now, for the perk tree, we just build all damage on this because anything that gives you more damage versus bosses on this weapon is going to be a top tier option because it is just like the ultimate damage tool on pretty much any class it's on. Now, the first perk here is Perpetual Strength, moving here into the perk Kinetic Energy. Each consecutive heavy attack increases heavy attack melee damage by 3% up to 30% for 3 seconds. Moving here into the perk Perpetual Strength and Perpetual Strength again for a total of a 10% melee damage increase. And then we pick up the perk here, Heavy Onslaught. Heavy attacks with this weapon deal 15% more melee damage. This is one of the best perks in this whole tree because it not only buffs up your normal heavy attacks, but it also buffs up the Shadow Stab, and Shadow Stab is one of, if not the best single target attacks in the entire game, so anything that buffs up the damage on that is going to be a top tier option, which is why I prefer this over the perk up here, Combined Onslaught. Next perk is Reeling Blow, up here into the perk Tide of Battle, and the final perk is Terminus Slayer for a 20% damage increase against bosses, which is really up to you. I take this because I like to one-shot bosses, can you blame me? But if you want to take Extremis Slayer, you can definitely do that. This one's not bad, I just think this one's like a little bit better because the hardest fights in this game are usually Terminus anyways, and being able to one-shot them and remove them in like any scenario, or I should say, you know, an optimal scenario with the proper dodges, it's just a really, really powerful tool. That's why I pick it up here. But, you know, the Power Gladius, one of the other big benefits of this weapon is that you have 7+ speed on a weapon that hits like an absolute truck. So its horde clear is quite good, and the balance window does help you out a bit because on this build, we will be taking Relentless Pursuit for 25% bonus range damage on gun strikes, and because of that, we don't have the no knockback of this perk, and being able to stagger on a parry is pretty good for that. So really great all around, though balance is a bit more limited than fencing. The damage buff here is definitely worth it. Now, for the tactical perk tree here, I am taking balance distribution first because today we're building for all range damage, and this perk actually got buffed this patch, and now it says your primary weapon deals 15% more damage, but your secondary weapon deals 15% less damage. That is up 5% from patch 11, so a pretty great change here, even though you do lose more damage on your secondary. Like I said before, the Heroic Heavy Bolt Pistol doesn't really care too much about that. Now, the next perk here is Relentless Pursuit. After a gun strike, range damage increases by 25% for 10 seconds. This is a really good perk now. It got buffed up in its time duration from 5 to 10 seconds back in like patch 11, and ever since then it's definitely been worth using, though I will say Heightened Vigor is definitely safer to use because there are a couple times, even the run will show, where this almost got me killed by having no knockback, but the 25% buff here, I still think it's worth it, so I pick it up. Next perk here is Emperor's Vengeance. This is the premier ammo economy class for Tactical and Space Marine 2, and really the entire game because it gives you back a full magazine every 30 seconds on a Majoris or above kill, which is a really strong perk effect. It also gives you back 1 grenade every 30 seconds, and 1 grenade with our Auspex combo here does have the potential to one-shot an entire group of Majoris, so a lot of value out of this perk, which is why I pick it up. Next perk here is Aligned Aim. Range damage increases by 15% for all team members. I like this perk a lot. I've talked about this one quite a bit in other videos because a range damage buff just feels really good in this game. Secure Stockpile is obviously better because getting equipment charged back on a 60-second cooldown is just incredible in Space Marine 2, but Aligned Aim is still a really good option. Next perk here is Vital Data. Scanning Extremis for Terminus level enemies ensures your Auspex scans charged by 50%. Usually, you want to just scan an Extremis or Terminus anyway, so having this back a little bit faster helps out a ton. You don't really realize how good the cooldown reduction here is until you use it more in the game, so Definitely pick this one up if you haven't before, though I will say things like priority targeting are not horrible, and the perk down here, target lock, can actually be decent, but just keep in mind equipment damage is not the same as range damage, and your grenade launcher does not count for that, so definitely pick this one up if you're like trying to go for a full range damage build and you think this is going to buff up your grenade launcher. Next perk here is the ultimate Auspex combo, precise calibration and concentrated fire. Precise calibration gives you a 75% damage bonus on your Auspex scan with a radius reduction of 25%, and concentrated fire gives you an additional 120% damage increase, and your Auspex scan will last 60% longer, but the downside here is that if they leave the scanned area, you will lose the mark on them. And that may sound a little bit awful at first, but when you realize that the damage buff here means you just one-shot most of the guys that enter your horrific zone here, it doesn't matter too much, and bosses... Every boss in this game tends to have like a moment where they will stall, like a Hellbrute will slam his hammer, a Neurothrop will shout, and a Carnifex will ram a wall. And that's like the best opportunity to put these down on them. And on the tactical with Power Gladius, if you time it right, you will be able to one-shot them all on your own. And in a team, you just coordinate and one-shot them while this is active. So definitely the best boss nuke combo in the game. That's why I take it pretty much every time. Next perk here is Radiant Impact. A melee finisher additionally deals significant AoE damage in a 10 meter radius. The cooldown is 90 seconds. This perk will save your life. Having a damage nuke available every 90 seconds to one-shot Majoris around you is incredible, especially in a boss fight. There are moments in this game where like 5 sword warriors are staring you down with their bone swords and one of them fucks up and lets you execute him and you just kill the entire pack. Or you're in like an entire nightmare horde in a boss spawn with like a ton of extremists, and you just need to blow apart the entire group. This will help you with that. It will deal significant damage to bosses, extremists, and one-shot the Majoris, which is really all you need, and a 90-second cooldown is really not that long, so definitely pick this one up. It is still the top tier option. Now, this brings us to the Prestige perks. The first Prestige perk we take here is Acuity. This one just gives you bonus headshot damage for every consecutive headshot up to 15%. This is just a must-take on a bolter weapon, okay? Like, if you're using a bolter weapon, if you're going for headshots at all in this game, you just pick this up. The only time you skip this is on, like, Plasma, or if you're going for a Siege mode run and you want to take Spare Power instead. Next perk here is Skilled Supplier, and Reserve increases by 15%. This will up your total grenades, so definitely pick this one up. And the final two are Resilience for 40% more HP from stims, and Fortitude for a health increase of 15%, because health increases in Space Marine 2 are really hard to come by, and this is like the only tank perk on Tactical, so definitely grab this one. But that is pretty much everything I have to say about this heroic heavy bolt rifle build, guys. Hopefully this build guide helped you, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more. If you want to come hang out with me live and ask me questions about the game, or just come hang out, you can find me here on YouTube or on Twitch with a link in the video description, alongside a link to my community Discord. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Take it easy. Bye. We could Auspex these guys and just get a free kill, but I kind of want to save that for the boss.
You are fertilized now, Pseudos.
Please give me some dodge charges here. Thank you. And that's why the Power Gladius is one of the best.
This lictor stalks the battlefield no Changing magazine.
Late on that one.
Stay dead, Ravenel.
Alright, that went pretty well. We'll look for a relic here now. Nothing. I do think this is like the best of the heavy bolt rifle options on like any class. Tactical especially though. Tactical has so many range damage perks that when you take a weapon like this, you really get the most out of it. I hope they buff up some of the other class options for range damage, because as far as the weapons are concerned, every single weapon I've ever used on another class that's like overlapping with tactical for the most part has just been better on this one. Alright, let's go open this up.
Reporting in. Teams arrived at the Imperial Guard encampment.
Crackmade.
You
Take
need
that.
to acquire the Astra Militarum demolition codes required to deploy and arm their ordnance. Source one from any soldier you see, alive or otherwise.
Sweep complete, but nothing here.
Yeah, push him out of that a little bit.
That's it.
And the ammo box, perfect.
Fresh magazine in.
Okay, I'm gonna go check for a relic up here once we swap this out.
I have the codes.
Oh, perfect.
Captain, the demolition codes are secure.
Proceed to the Prometheum refinery and complete the demolition preparations.
High beast here. Swapping magazine. Enhanced visual info. Pathetic tyranny.
That was awkward.
Stim injection administered.
Love that bug. I forgot that we're not rocking the Titan Vigors. Gotta be a little more careful there.
Lictor. Sneaky high fiend. You are fertilizer now, Suno.
There we go. I think I'll just nade this dude.
Deploying crack grenade.
A little risky business, but that's okay.
Subterranean alien pest.
It's have to have faith of the stagger. You know, that's why I only take a balanced or fencing weapon with the
We made
Relentless Pursuit perk usually, because otherwise you have way less stagger opportunity. Which is fine with no knockback on block weapons, but that's one of the benefits of stagger, especially for this class, because you're quite squishy.
another Xenos bioform eliminated.
Dang. Okay. Perfect.
We made our Primarch proudness.
Now we do have a loadout station up ahead, so we got all our nades back there.
Fresh magazine in. Pathetic tyranny abomination. Four specs engaged.
Get down, Mr. President, I guess. Do a lot of range damage either way.
Talassa, the Cadians are running out of time. How close are you to the Prometheum facility?
Arriving at the objective now.
You are making good time. We are going to need it.
Let us finish what the Cadians started.
Right, hopefully this location doesn't take us too long.
Finish its deployment into the crypt Prometheum
Doesn't mean it gives us so.
cautiously.
If you get all 4 generators and a... There's a box over there. If you get all 4 generators and a jammed crane, that does kind of suck. Alright, let me hit the button here.
Deployment has begun.
Rates of activation have been observed. Generators targeting a machine called Spain. Crane sequencing initialized. Delivering payload.
Overwatch needed on generator 1.
Probably go over there. I'll take normal frags for this just in case. We don't have like the best, actually we definitely do, what am I saying? We have amazing horde clear.
Divine protocols.
We have a fucking grenade launcher. And a gun. I love guns. Shit, I don't think I hit him at all. That's always annoying.
Our foe will not best us with numbers.
Overcrowding alerted Generator 1. Unauthorized personnel. Observe your duties. X-axis aligned. By the Omnissiah's will.
The first leg of this race is behind us.
Attention. Crane drive is jammed. Perform the necessary cleansing to resume operation.
Fuck you.
Alien trespasser sighted. Eliminate the tyranny biowar. Detecting my second mind. Target is rallying reserve forces. Halted. Hive beast here. We will slay it.
Oh, they didn't stop it.
We must redouble our efforts to repair the crane.
Yep. A lot of spore mines. Oh, it's been there were 2 inside each other. There we go.
We are victorious. We must redouble our efforts to repair the crane.
That's annoying.
We must redouble our efforts to repair the crane.
Getting maximum value out of remote threat there. 40% bonus range damage at 25 meters or beyond. Well, that was like, I don't know, like what, 70 and 50 meters away? I can't meter, okay, I'm American, I'm really operating
Back on
feet.
track.
Drive train restored.
Get over here.
In the course of locomotion at its
Hold generator 3, brothers.
pneumatic vibrations emitting from Generator 3. Operator, bring it into harmony of timing.
Tyrannid menace. Disgusting Tyrannid scum.
That should be most of them, unless we get 2 more generators, but that'd be pretty mean. We'll see. Sometimes the game will do that to you.
Margin of error 0.0 nanometers. Blessed be the omniscience divine precision.
Progress is progress, bro. Let us keep that swarm from ever reaching Generator 4.
Generator 4 is suffering mechanistic palpitations. Provide service before components are harmed.
Four bombs incoming.
Rush there, okay.
Tyranid artillery in sight.
That's annoying.
Injecting stimulus. Rally, brothers! You can retake that generator with ease. Zone's broken. Fortify your cycles.
Okay.
The stench is sick, but the beast is dead. Fresh magazine in.
You guys really tag teaming me there. Hiding behind like opposite pillars. Or I should say splitting between the walls, pretty annoying.
No errors logged under the omniscience watchful oculus.
We are ready to ambush the enemy.
There is an observation platform overlooking the Cryptomethium fields. It will make a good vantage for your ambush.
Okay, let's just fucking leave. Wonderful.
Gather to me, brothers. Rearming. Silence that vermin's call for more of its foul breath. Fresh magazine in.
We got 3 more boss spawns potentially. One's up here. This is the better area for the Power Gladius, so I prefer it here. Okay, that's not too bad.
The lictor has us in its sights. Kill that foe. Let's Xenos fireball. Disgusting Tyranid scum. Nurak, bro. Keep your distance, brothers.
That's the overperforming nature of that perk.
Ravener. Watch the
Okay.
crowd.
2 Raveners.
That one
If I can do this. Not force me to that, kind of sucks. I have a waste of the Auspex, but I'd rather have the Auspex be wasted than die, so.
Borrowing Ravener filth. Changing magazine. Thought you could hide from an Astartes. Reloading.
That was a risky business I just did there. Okay. Before an extremis spawn comes, I prefer just X this guy. There we go. Okay.
Area cleansed of the foul seeds.
I lie, I wasn't expecting him to die in one shot there, so that is unfortunate. Or one knife stab. Thing to do. We have a relic. I prefer not to spend it though, if I don't have to. Especially on Bramble.
Alien trespassing site.
Where else there? Okay. This is where recruitment's definitely a safer perk option because you get armor back from these guys on that 15-second cooldown. Really undervalued. Gotta say, recruitment, he definitely knows when you don't have it. Oh, nice. Love it.
We have arrived at Nose
The next box we find should be another stim.
Distraction efforts as long as you can.
Should be.
On my honor, I will ensure your mission is a success.
I will hold you to that.
A stim shot. Now that will just give us full HP. When you're this low, a stim shot is like the best possible option. You just crack that open in combat, and you will just go to full. Whoops. That would have been really awkward. That killed me there.
Fresh magazine in.
Armor boost, maybe? Yeah.
My Auspex cannot even compute
This
their
will
numbers.
probably be a nade. Yep, melt the bomb. We'll take that. So we're gonna pop this open when the horde starts forming over here. Showcase the sim shot. Oh, hello. Thank you for the unblockable. The standing one. Might as well do that if we have this. Oh, there's a bio over there.
Stay close and sharp.
Okay, Sanctified Wrath and Reliquary. These got buffed up this patch and now have like a 35% buff, I believe, to your melee damage. It's multiplicative on top of like a 20-second uptime. They're definitely strong now. I don't know if they're as strong as a Melt-A-Bomb, but like if you have a effective execution like a Thunderhammer Assault, that is a good option. But we're gonna keep this for now.
I see them coming, brothers. Plenty for everyone.
Excels at this. Oh, great. Another one of these guys. Well, we can definitely blast him down. He's our stim shot.
The hive mind real.
The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the predicted path. Continue holding.
Look at that heal. That's nuts. But that was a waste of our signature perk, but it was okay.
Resist the tyranny, Wayne. The refinery needs covering. Fresh munitions. Disgusting Tatinos bioform. Reloading.
Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up.
Pathetic tyranny of population. Fresh magazine in. We have more enemies on the horizon, brothers. Swapping magazine.
The swarm has almost fully committed. Be ready for my mark.
You are fertilizer now, Xenos. Fresh magazine in.
Should be good. Should be all of them. I'm missing something here.
You are clear
There we
to
go.
detonate. Cook those rotten bastards.
And that is the heroic heavy bolt rifle on tactical with balance distribution. Newly buffed. Newly buffed balance distribution. Feels pretty good. I think crack and penetrator rounds would be a pretty popular option. All bolter weapons are automatic, but balance distribution can get 15% buff. That is pretty nice as well.
Tyranid biocides down 90% and fall. Swarm annihilation
And
confirmed.
power gladius, good as always.
Move to extract. Extraction complete.
How much range damage we did? Over almost 70,000 range damage. Goddamn.